Cheating wife after cheating husband. I met her gaze and she smiled a knowing smile, then returned her attention to the woman she was talking to. That little smile said it all, loud and clear. You want to have sex with me, and I know it. She was right. I did want it. But I also knew I could never have her. My relationship with Tasha started out on the wrong end. I didn't want her in my department, and I'm afraid my feelings about that were well known. When a vacancy came up, I submitted the name of the most qualified person in the department, someone who could do the job and who was worthy and long overdue for a promotion. 2 days later, I was called into Human Resources, and Bill, our Human Resources specialist, introduced me to Tasha and said, "Tasha will be filling a vacancy in your department." My look said, "You've got to be kidding me?" He understood my look correctly and shrugged slightly. "She still has to go to the clinic for a drug test and then come back here and fill out the rest of the paperwork, so she won't start until tomorrow, but I thought it might be a good idea to have you here to meet her." "Great. It was nice to meet Mrs. Portley. I'll see you in the morning." "This is Mrs. Portley," he said. I smiled, nodded my head, and left the office. 5 minutes later, I got a call from Bill. "Can you talk?" "Yeah, she's on her way to the clinic." "What are you doing to me? This job should have gone to Ben, not someone outsider." "It's not my call. Instructions came from above to hire her for the position." "What idiot up there in the Ivory Palace made that decision? Does he have any idea of the damage it will do?" "Oh, come on. How would hiring her hurt your department?" "Do you have a week to sit and listen? First of all, she's a woman, and she's going into an all-male environment. Second, she just stole a promotion from the person most qualified for the job and the person who earned that promotion twice. The impact on morale alone can have a negative impact on our productivity. Third, she is Hispanic, and 2/3 of the men in my department are Southern, and they will not like being ordered around by this woman. It would be another blow to morale and productivity. Fourth, she has an attitude problem. Did you notice the tone in which she told me it was Mrs. and not Miss? She's got a chip hanging over her shoulders, and that's not going to lead to anything good either." Tough, buddy. This came straight from the CEO. He was at a meeting of one of his community groups, and someone pointed out that he has no minorities in leadership at any level in the company. Now he can say he has some. "Well, you can tell that asshole that I'm going to send him a memo about it and put him on notice that I'm not going to be held accountable when my department falls apart. All you're going to get is, 'You're the manager, so manage. If you can't, we'll find someone who can.'" "I don't care, Bill. I was looking for a job when I found this one. Send me her resume so I can see what I have to work with." "I can't." "Why not?" "I don't have one. All I have is a phone call from Maxie's executive secretary telling me that Mrs. Portley was on her way here and I should hire her." "So be it." "I think they did it, buddy. I think they did it." I'm a stickler for being straightforward with the people who work for me. So the first thing I did when I got back to my department was to call Ben and tell him the bad news. He took it well, but was also very frank. "I'm not happy, but if she can handle the job, I'll work with her. On the other hand, if she doesn't do a good job, I won't hire her. And if I get nasty things said to me because of it, I'll quit." I then called the whole department together and told them what was going to happen next. There was a lot of, "That's not fair," and a lot of grumbling. But I interrupted them by saying, "This is something we have to live with, people. Let's not get into any trouble until we see what happens." So far, Ben's okay with it, and he's the one who's in trouble, so we'll see how it plays out. The next morning, when Tasha arrived at work, I took her into my office and told her everything. I told her that she had gotten a promotion from Ben, that there were a lot of people on the floor who were unhappy about it, and that she was going to have a hard time. I told Bill that she had an attitude problem, and it showed right away. "So what pisses you off the most? The fact that I'm a woman or the fact that I'm Latina?" "The thing that upsets me the most, Tasha, is—" She cut me short. "I prefer Mrs. Portley." "I don't care what you prefer. Like I said, the thing that upsets me the most about this deal is that a long-time and loyal employee isn't involved. And I'll tell you right now that your attitude sucks. The lowest seniority on the floor is 8 years, and they've gotten along just fine without you until now. Many of them are male chauvinist pigs, and most of them are from the South and have never worked for or with women, let alone Hispanics. If you take your attitude to the floor, they will trash it. If they do and my production goes up, I'll throw you out of here in a heartbeat, and I don't care who your sugar daddy is in the office. I don't care about your gender or your skin color. All I care about is that you do your job. Do we understand each other? You can't talk to me like that. Oh, yes, lady, I can. As long as this is my department and you work for me, when I talk, you will listen, and when I'm done, you will say, "Yes, sir," or "Right away, sir," and I'm on it. Do we understand each other? Her eyes blazed with defiance, but she nodded in agreement, and I led her to the floor and introduced her to my department. She surprised everyone. It didn't work out right away, and there were a few major obstacles in the way, but Tasha could do the job and did it well. Once Ben saw what she could do, he took a liking to her, and when the other guys noticed it, they started to take a liking to her too. Within 6 months, she was already popping in after work every now and then for a drink with the team. It wasn't until Tasha was being evaluated for her first year of work that things started to fall into place. As she sat across from me and read what I had written, I watched her and marveled at how beautiful she looked when she was relaxed. Most of the time, she was busy and preoccupied with things, and the planes of her face were sharpened, giving her a stern look. When she finished reading the review and handed it to me, I said, "Okay, now it's your turn. How do you rate the department and the department leadership?" I saw a look of concern appear on her face and said, "Your review is ready and signed, Tasha. Nothing you say now can affect it. That's why I'm doing it this way. Nothing is perfect, Tasha. Everything can be improved. What do you think we can do better? What can I do better to help the department fulfill its obligations? What can we do on the floor to make things better? What about your fellow employees? Speak your mind, Tasha. You won't get another chance until your performance review next year." "Nothing." "What do you mean?" "Nothing needs changing. Everything is going smoothly." "You have no worries at all?" "Well, just one." "Which is?" She hesitated, then, "I think the guys on the floor don't respect me." "Why do you think that?" "They hit on me all the time. They know I'm married and that I love my husband, but they keep hitting on me." I smiled when she said that, and she said, "What's so funny? Have you looked in the mirror lately? It's not a lack of respect you're getting, it's desire. A male animal is attracted to the female of the species." "But I'm Latina and they're all white." "And that's supposed to mean something? You look beautiful, Tasha, and that's not going to change because of your skin color." "What about the fact that I'm married?" "Most of them are too, and it doesn't mean anything to them. All they care about is whether you're going to play or not." "Do you really think so?" "Of course I think so." "But you don't, and you're a male." "I don't do it, Tasha, because you work for me, and love harassment is the new popular word these days. The quickest way to shoot myself in the fat would be to molest you. Even if you don't file a report, someone else can do it if they think you're making progress because there's something going on between us." It was at that moment that our relationship changed. What I can only describe as an evil smirk appeared on Tasha's face, and she said, "Are you telling me that if I offered you this body, you'd refuse just because I work for you?" "I'm afraid that's very likely to be true." I saw something change in her eyes, but at that moment I had no idea what. I didn't know it, but I had just been challenged. The change was subtle, and I didn't notice it at first. Tasha started coming to my office more often. I use the term office, but it would be more realistic to call it a cubbyhole. It was small, cramped, and not designed for two people to move around. Tasha would bring in a production report, lean forward to place it on my desk, and I would get a great view of her cleavage. If I asked her a question about something in the report, she would come around behind me and lean forward to see what I was pointing at, and I could feel her large breasts pressing into my back. When she would come and sit in the chair across from my desk, she would sit so that I could look under her skirt and examine her legs. It finally dawned on me that Tasha was teasing me. I got confirmation of this at the company Christmas party. I was sitting at a table watching the couples on the dance floor when I was touched on the shoulder. I turned around and saw Tasha standing there. Can I cut in? If I had a partner and I was on the dance floor, you can. Well, then, I guess we should get out. She took my hands and lifted me from my chair and led me to the dance floor. Once on the dance floor, she moved in close to me and practically pressed herself against me. I tried to pull away, but Tasha was having none of that. She pressed herself against me, and as she felt my body, she giggled and said, "Oh, boss, are you allowed to do that to me? I work for you, remember?" That's true, Mrs. Portley. That's why I'm trying to put distance between us. And I tried to pull away again. "Oh, it's Mrs. Portley now, isn't it?" And she clung to me tightly. "I have a theory of my own," she said. "About what?" "About how you can't do this and that because I work for you." "Oh? And what is your theory?" "I think it's because I'm Latina. I think you've heard the old tale about color rubbing off. I think that's what it's all about." "That's just ridiculous." "Really? Prove me wrong. Take me over to the mistletoe and kiss me." I looked back and she exclaimed, "Yep, I was right." "Right about what?" "You just looked around to see who was watching us. You wouldn't want to be seen kissing a Latina, would you?" "Don't be silly. I was just looking for your husband. I want to get a look at his face and see how he feels about it." "Don't worry about my husband, dear. If he got upset about me being kissed under the mistletoe, there'd be a dozen fights here by now. So, are you going to ask me to dance and kiss me under the mistletoe? Or are you just going to admit you're a hidden asshole covering yourself with words about a boss and an employee? Have you ever experienced someone pushing your button at the most inopportune moment?" Tasha's remark had that effect on me. I steered us toward the mistletoe, but didn't stop when we reached it. I stepped through the doorway and out into the hallway, casting one last glance around the room to see if her husband was looking in our direction, and saw that he wasn't. I stopped waltzing with Tasha, took her hand, and dragged her behind me until I found the unlocked door. Tasha protested and tried to pull away from me, but I paid her no attention. I dragged her into the room, slammed the door shut, and pinned Tasha against the wall. I looked into her wide-open eyes and inwardly smiled at the confusion on her face. I tilted my head and kissed her. She wasn't expecting it. My kiss came as a complete surprise to her. I took a step forward and wanted to make love to her, and I said, "Come on, Tasha. What are you afraid of, Tasha? Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this what all your teasing was supposed to lead to? Come on, Tasha. Either do something or admit to me that you're a bigot." Tasha looked up at me, and I saw a tear in the corner of her left eye. "I can't," she said. "I'm married, and I can't." I reached out and lifted her to her feet. "We better get back to the party before they find us." The teasing stopped, and for the next month or so, Tasha hardly met my gaze, and then things between us gradually returned to normal. The normal relationship lasted less than a week. Tasha just walked into my office, sat down in the chair across from me, and then Tasha said, "I think I remember you telling me about what you would do if I teased you again. Or were you just messing with me? What happened to 'I'm married and I can't'? I caught that worthless asshole having sex with my cousin." I stared at her, contemplating how to proceed. After all, it would be a bit risky in my office at noon. She interrupted my musings. "What's the matter, white boy? Afraid it might come out?" "We've already proved that it doesn't. Maybe we just didn't get enough heat and friction that time." "Well, then, we'd better find out for sure," and I got up to walk over and lock the door. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.